So today we're going to be looking at the GoldMasterFusion MT5 EA. So this bot caught my attention because it joins the family of bots on the marketplace, which is really heavily leaning on the use of artificial intelligence. And I always like to kind of study these to see if they're really using AI in an intelligent new way, which we can learn from and integrate in some of our EAs, or if it's just scamming or using it more in a marketing fluff language. This video is sponsored by our free Golden Time Bomb Expert Advisor. Take your trading to the next level through automating the London breakout and the opening range breakout. Click the link in the description to download the EA completely for free. And effectively here they're saying that this one is designed to trade gold and that it's using like your classic quantitative models and it's combining that with modern AI technologies. And that's usually the better way of actually making AI bots is you have an underlying strategy which you can backtest, and then on top of that you can use large language models or decision trees or neural nets or whatnot to further enhance your trading strategy. And that just makes sure that you still have like a solid foundation, and on top of that you're adding additional features which can make it even better. And if we actually look at some of the strategy descriptions here, we can say that it has like adaptive risk management, so multi-market adaptability, so it works well across bull and bear and ranging markets. But then some of these points don't make a ton of sense. It seems to be more like ChatGPT marketing language, so multi-dimensional market perception. So I honestly think quite a few developers in the marketplace ask ChatGPT to write a sales page and they copy and paste it because there's all these like fancy sounding words which don't necessarily relate to what the bot actually does. Pardon me. Now here effectively we look at like suitable users. We can see it saying like, hey, they're looking for people who want to, who are a bit more risk averse, so looking for long-term compounding. And then if we say like live performance, apparently it has performed very well over several different years. And we're not really ascertaining too much about the actual strategy from this sales page. And if we look here, we can see that they're claiming that you're able to toggle between a variety of different large language models. Whether or not they actually enable you to do that is another thing. Like all of these different bots would require you to put in an API key. So being able to have a slot where you can stick in the key is going to be essential. Like I personally have used most of these for some sort of EA, but currently I'm using Perplexity and Claude for some of our longbow bots. And you need a key because you as the developer, you as the user, you need to pay to be able to use these large language models. And some of them, for instance, like Claude's Opus model is just rather expensive. You're paying almost $2 per query at time of recording. And no developer or most developers won't give you access to these for free just by embedding a key into the code. Particularly if the bot ever were to get cracked or something, you're going to be paying for potentially hundreds of users to use your API key, which can definitely get expensive. So this appears to be just, they're using it more in a marketing context than actually to develop a good trading strategy. And we're not actually getting too much information about the actual strategy from the sales page either. So far the reviews are looking pretty good. People seem rather pleased, but we only have 3 so far. And if we look at the actual trading history, obviously the returns are high because they're using a tiny deposit with high leverage. And there have been some winners and losers so far. So it's actually looking pretty decent. Like we are seeing some bigger wins. We are seeing some smaller losers. But once again, there's so few trades here that like we have absolutely no idea whether or not this is a good, truly indicative signal. But so far the risk reward is actually looking half decent, which is good. So if this were to continue, we might actually see a viable trading system here. Now if I open up the actual MT5 backtester, I've taken the liberty of running a quick backtest here. And as you guys can see, it looks heavily manipulated to me. We're turning 10,000 into $3.4 million within the span of a year. Obviously that just doesn't happen, right? Like it's pretty... If that were the case, we'd all be billionaires driving multiple Lamborghinis, but alas, that edge over randomness is typically a sign of some degree of manipulation. If we look here at the win rate, we're seeing a 91% win rate, and here we are seeing a 3-to-1 inverted risk reward, so they are allowing for some losers. However, the edge over randomness is still too great here, so that something seems fishy to me. Either a heavy degree of manipulation or over-optimization, or just some degree of history reading. But the fact that we are seeing some losers and we are seeing some detachments from the equity and the balance line would show to me that this is probably more heavy overfitting or cherry picking some trades than pure history reading, because history reading is usually just a perfect straight line, just goes up with zero dips in it. Let's just go through some of the deals here to see if there's some volume scaling. And there is some kind of odd jumps in the volume. It tends to be consistent, but then sometimes it just goes down to a much smaller number. And oh, that's interesting. So it looks like on the losses, sometimes it scales down, or sometimes winners scale up or actually scale down too. And it seems to be adjusting lot size sometimes with really no rhyme or reason. And then it just kind of, so it starts low, and then it just starts randomly, massively jacking up the lot size towards the end. So this is weird. So this looks like most likely there was some degree of manipulation of the lot size. Perhaps they went through, and what they did is during better times, they just started massively jacking up the lot size. And then during losing times, they started they kept it smaller. Or if they knew that periods where the actual performance was good, let's just jack up the lot size. That could very well have been the case here. So yeah, this is weird. You wouldn't scale from 2 lots to 50 lots and then kind of go back down to 9 randomly. That's weird. Something strange is going on. And now for our final test here, let's run ourselves a visual back test to see if maybe we can glean anything about the strategy. But there's no indicators or anything. It's going both long and short. So they're entering with market positions. They're not actually doing pending orders, which is rather common here. They seem to be using a break-even stop loss. Oh, it's trailing stop loss, actually, not a break-even. So that is a real strategy. So some sort of trigger to enter. Perhaps it's more like a meaner version one, because here we're seeing, for instance, it's kind of pushing away. Yeah, perhaps more like a meaner version price action trigger or a hard-coded indicator combined with the trailing stop loss and market entries. So there might actually be a real strategy here, but it's so heavily manipulated, likely through volume manipulation, that it's unfortunately impossible for us to ascertain what's going on. But if we look at the live signal, they so far appear to have a decent risk reward. So it might actually have a real strategy. It's just we need to really, because we can't trust the backtest, we need to wait to see for that live signal at least probably 6 months in order to ascertain what's actually going on. And at the same time, the AI claims are pretty false in my opinion. There's no actual place to put an API key. There's no explanation of how that works. So that's probably not a great starting point. So my conclusion is there's definitely some manipulation going on here, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's actually some sort of real strategy behind it too. So if you are interested in this kind of bot, maybe wait another 2-3 months to see how the signal progresses, but I would be a bit skeptical, at least in its current state. Guys, hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one.